Welcome back to O-Level Oasis, where we are studying O-Level biology. We are currently on chapter 14, and so far we have completed the first 4 units of this chapter. Now, we will begin a new unit, Unit 14.5, which focuses on temperature control. These are the specifications we will cover one by one, so let's begin. So, we have specification number 1 here, which asks us to identify, on a diagram of the skin, hairs, hair erector muscles, sweat glands, receptors, sensory neurons, blood vessels and fatty tissue. So, we first need to study and understand the structure of the skin, as it plays a major role in regulating body temperature. So, the human skin is made up of 3 main layers, each with a specific role in protecting and supporting the body. The outermost layer is the epidermis, which forms a protective barrier between the body and the external environment. It helps prevent the entry of harmful microorganisms and substances while also reducing water loss from the body. Underneath the epidermis is the dermis, a thicker layer that contains several important structures. This layer houses sweat glands that help regulate body temperature, hair follicles that support hair growth, and blood vessels such as capillaries and arterioles that supply nutrients and help control heat loss. The dermis also contains sensory neurons and receptors that detect changes such as temperature, touch, pressure, and pain, enabling the body to respond appropriately to its surroundings. The deepest layer of the skin is the hypodermis, also called the subcutaneous or fatty layer. It is mainly composed of fat cells known as adipocytes. This layer acts as an insulating cushion that reduces heat loss and helps maintain a stable body temperature. It also provides protection by absorbing shocks and supporting underlying tissues. Taking a closer look at the structure of the skin, several important parts can be recognized by their appearance and position. The sweat pore is the small opening of the sweat gland duct found on the surface of the epidermis. It acts as the exit point through which sweat is released onto the skin. Blood vessels appear as branching red arteries and blue veins. They are mainly located throughout the dermis, although some extend into the hypodermis, and they can be identified as a network of branching tubes, especially within the lower part of the dermis. Receptors, also called sensory neurons or nerve endings, can be seen as yellow, branched nerve fibers. Some of these fibers end in rounded or bulb-like structures, which are studied in greater detail at higher levels. These receptors are distributed throughout the dermis and may sometimes surround hair follicles. Adipose tissue, or fat tissue, forms a large fat layer that is mainly present in the hypodermis and acts as a cushioning and insulating layer at the base of the skin. Beneath this layer lies muscle tissue, which appears dense and striated and forms the deepest supportive layer beneath the skin. Other important labeled structures include hair, which grows from hair follicles and extends through the epidermis. The hair erector muscle is attached to the hair follicle and contracts to raise the hair, causing goosebumps. The sebaceous gland secretes sebum that lubricates and waterproofs the skin and hair. Sweat glands are coiled structures found in the dermis that produce sweat to help regulate body temperature. Sensory neurons transmit signals from receptors to the nervous system, enabling the body to detect temperature, touch, pressure, and pain. Overall, the skin is organized into 3 main layers. The epidermis forms the outer protective barrier and contains structures such as sweat pores and hair shafts. The dermis is the middle layer and contains hair follicles, sebaceous glands, sweat glands, blood vessels, receptors, and sensory neurons, all of which play roles in sensation and temperature regulation. The hypodermis is the deepest layer and contains adipose tissue that provides insulation, stores energy, cushions the body, and connects the skin to the underlying muscle tissue, helping support and anchor the skin.